What's up, bitches?
Let's talk about crime.
What's up, bitches?
Hello.
How are you? I'm great. I just got back from Disneyland and I'm sick as fuck.
You don't want to know what that's called? That's called karma for not bringing your children.
It's not called karma. It's called every time I go to Disney, I come back with a Disney cold.
No.
Every single time.
Nope.
Last time I went with my family, like the four of us, I came back with a cold. Whether I go with the four of them or just myself and my
I don't
husband,
recall those moments.
I always get sick. It's really sucky. So that's where we're at with that. I don't really have a lot to say really going into this because the true crime world is popping off, but I'm really
There's so many things.
I'm very disheartened by the world today and this whole last week that I don't really feel like rehashing or talking about all the things that have happened that would be considered true crime related because it's horrific.
Now, all I do have to say, though, is I'm sure if you are a country that has TikTok, I'm sure you've seen and Netflix, I'm sure you've seen it. But on Netflix, there is a documentary that's basically about like a girl that gets basically cyber fucking attacked.
Catfished.
Yeah, by this person. And spoiler.
No, don't spoil it.
Okay, I won't spoil it.
If you haven't
You just have to watch it because
go watch it. I have not watched yet. Sierra spoiled it, but actually I already kind of knew about it. But there's a whole thing.
I knew about it before I watched it because of TikTok.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Fuck, I can't remember what
and
it's called.
Yeah, look it up. It's on Netflix. So it's definitely it'll definitely be a good watch.
I have to rewatch it though because I definitely was like on the verge of falling asleep. So I definitely need to rewatch it.
It'll be a good watch. But and it's called
Unknown Number, The High School Catfish.
Yeah.
Right now on my Netflix, at least it's rated top 10.
So yeah,
you should be able to find it.
So instead of digging into the true crime world, we're just telling you something that maybe you might want to watch that is still just as shitty as what's going on in our world.
It's still
today,
a crime,
but maybe not as awful. This has been a really rough week for me, and I normally don't get disheartened by the world very much, but this last week was real hard. Every day I turned on the TV, something bad had happened, and they all had to deal with murder.
This last week made me really. The only word that I can come up with is disappointed in our country.
Yeah, I'm just and honestly, I
don't give a fuck about your political belief.
Well, it's not even just that. It's not even
that.
It's not even the Charlie Kirk situation. It's also
everything.
The school shootings. It's also the beheading of a motel manager. It's like every time I turned around, the news had somebody else had died from something, and not like, oh, they got in a car accident, like they were murdered.
Well, I mean, even
People were murdered.
Even just the fact that like because of all the shitty things that were happening, 9/11 I feel like was fucking passed over like it was just another fucking day.
I agree.
I didn't even realize it was 9/11 until I looked at the fucking clock and was like,
because
holy
there were
shit.
so many things going on that were really awful that in the current moment,
I feel like
9/11 was kind of people.
It could be. It's been 24 years.
I mean,
it could be
to be
fucking
fair,
50,
it's not like we want to
still think
celebrate 9/11, but we want to remember 9/11. But it's
important
hard
to remember it.
It's hard to remember 9/11 when your current day world is
when you're
like
surrounded by
falling
shitty
apart.
things.
Yeah, it's been really rough. So. The good news is this episode is not going to deal with anything that has to do with murder or true crime. And I didn't actually set it up that way. I did not know that this last week was going to be such a fucking shit time. I'm glad that it worked out this way, though, because I really don't know. I don't know if I would have had the heart to talk about some sort of true crime because, like I said, my brain hurts. And I was in Disneyland for a lot of it, and and Sierra can attest this, Disneyland is my happy place. It is the place that
I think it's a lot of people's happy place.
I can decompress and forget about the world. I could not do that on this last trip. There was just so much bad stuff going on that every time I'd open my phone, I'd be standing in line for a ride or something like that, and my phone would pop up with some sort of news or breaking news, and it was another death, and I was like, yeah, I can't. It was really hard. So overall, I don't think I could have come here today and talked about anything that had to do with more death or true crime. So we had talked about on episode 52 that we were turning over a new leaf on season 2. And we had said that our season 2 is going to be full of unsolved cases and some maybe paranormal cases and then true crime cases. So I thought it would be fitting that episode 54, which is today's episode, would be our very first paranormal type of thing, which I'm glad. I'm actually thankful because like I said, I don't want to talk about true crime today, which is real fucking rare for me. So we will get into what we're talking about. A lot of you might know this. It's probably one of the more popular places, but I thought it would be easy and fun to start with something that a lot of people probably know. So what we're talking about is we are talking about the Queen Mary, currently located in Long Beach, California.
We're taking a trip.
And it is known as the world's most haunted ship. And
you can go on it, right?
Yeah.
Like tours and shit, yeah?
You can stay there. It's a hotel.
Okay, I'm not going to fucking do that, but...
You can stay there. It's a hotel. Yeah,
I think we should, next time family trip go to Cali, put that on the bucket list.
Well, when we go in December to Disneyland, Long Beach is only like 20 minutes, 30 minutes from where we're going to be.
So depending on what time we get in, downtown Disney can wait till 1 a.m.
The Queen Mary, again, it's a paranormal hotspot, and it's docked currently, and it's like permanently docked in Long Beach, California. So we're going to give you a little background on, and then we'll get into the hauntings.
Which I call bullshit on the hauntings.
I do not. So
I don't know if I believe
here's
in this
the
shit,
reason.
so we'll see.
Here's the reason why I don't, because it's not just one person. It's like massive amounts of people have experienced some of these hauntings on.
Wait, how can I say I don't believe
Queen
it when we're pretty sure we saw a ghost at Alcatraz?
Well, and I personally, I know somebody who stayed in overnight. It was actually somebody that your dad used to work with, and were hanging out with them, and they were telling us that for their anniversary, they're very big into paranormal. They did a week-long road trip of all these paranormal locations, and the Queen, one of them, and they actually did stay and their room had like an extra room off to the side that they refused to stay in because it was so scary. The lights flickered. There was all kinds of shit that was happening in the boat, and they actually had another person join them because she was really big into the Queen Anne and paranormal stuff, that all three of them had to stay in the same bed, and they didn't even sleep because they were so scared to fall asleep at night.
Why the fuck you paying to stay?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But I'm just saying, so I personally know people who have had experiences with Queen Mary. And then again, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a paranormal person. I got creeped out doing my research on this shit. It was real weird. So let's give you a little background. The Queen Mary was actually a luxury ocean liner that served as a premier ocean liner from 1936 to 1967. Think like Titanic, right?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was imagining.
So the ship had a library, a gym, a squash court, a ballroom, 2 swimming pools, a hospital, all the fancy stuff. It held 2,038 passengers, which is nothing like a cruise ship now, but that's big for back in the 1930s. And it was a transatlantic liner, which means it went like from New York to France. It would go across the whole entire basic world, basically.
Atlantic?
Sure. And this ship also ended up serving part of its time as a service ship for World War II. Now, the ship made 1,001 transatlantic crossings during the time of its operations, and it carried a total of about 2.2 million passengers in total.
Damn. That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. Throughout those 2.2 million, there were 47 deaths reported on the ship throughout its time, which in my mind is
really
not very
low.
Yeah, that's not very many.
I thought you were going to say like 4,000.
No, especially since it was a ship in World War II for a couple of years. The fact that it only had 47 reported deaths, that's pretty crazy.
Hey, bravo to you, hospital team. That's all I got to say.
Now, the ship, like I said before, is permanently docked in Long Beach, California, where it is also now a hotel. It is believed that there are about 150 ghosts that haunt the Queen Mary. The deaths can stem all the way back to when the boat was actually constructed. So on June 5th, 1934, a construction worker named Malcolm Aitken, he actually fell from the scaffolding that was surrounding the ship and died. On June 8th of 1936, a crew member named Arthur John Francis Golding died after fracturing his skull during the ship's return home from the UK. So again, they would go from like the UK, they would do like UK, France, Italy, and they would they would drive the boat to like New York. They would dock at New York. I don't know if they actually ever officially docked in California until the end, but they must have, because I don't know how they would end up in Long Beach at some point. But they would go all over the place, and it was a very fancy cruise ship. During the ship's final voyage in 1967, crew member Leonard Horsburgh, he suffered from heat stroke and ends up dying from a cerebral hemorrhage. So those are 3 different people who physically worked on the boats that were reported as dying. Now, they also say that some of the hauntings could be from the time that the Queen Mary served as a ship in World War II. It is rumored that the ship was originally going to be named Victoria, like maybe Queen Victoria. But the story goes that when it was in the process of being built, one of the main, I don't know if he was like the owner. I don't think he was the owner. He was like a spokesperson for the company that was making the Queen Mary, was talking to King George V. And he said to King George V, this is going to be a fantastic ship. It's going to be luxurious. It's going to be an ocean liner. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to name it after England's greatest queen. To which King George V replied with, oh my God, my wife is going to be thrilled to have a ship named after her. Thus it became the Queen Mary.
Oh, wow.
So it was going to be Victoria,
Damn.
but after they
Sorry,
told
Queen Victoria, you got fucking booted.
apparently
Queen Victoria's probably haunting that bitch.
yeah, no
She's
shit.
Like, fuck
she's
you
like, that was supposed to
guys."
be my ship. Now, during World War II, actually carried 15,000 people and set a record for carrying a total of 16,683 troops in 1943.
That's a lot.
The Queen Mary also became known as the largest and fastest ship that was active during the war. So much so that Hitler offered a reward to any U-boat captain that could sink her, because nobody could sink the Queen Mary.
Even more reason to fuck off.
Right? So in 1942, the Queen Mary was in an accident. This is during World War II. She's in an accident with the what?
Sorry, it's just funny. You say, I know people call like
She is a boat.
no, I know
It's a she.
I know people call like their boats and cars like she, he, things like that. But it's just funny because we normally talk about murder. So
I
you're
know.
like, she got into an accident.
She did. She crashed into the HMS Curacoa, which actually killed hundreds of Curacoa passengers. Some of the things that the Queen Mary has a reputation, why she has a reputation of being so haunted, is because these are some of the things that have been reported to have been heard on board. And it's not just now. This is not just things that people hear now as the hotel. This is actually things that people who traveled on the Queen Mary during the active time also reported some of these things. So it has been reported that they have heard disembodied voices, strange noises, screaming. There have been ghost sightings. There have been sudden temperature changes. There have been sounds of closing doors. There has been sounds of running when nobody is present. Children playing and giggling when there are no children.
Okay, but that part's sad.
And smells of smoke. Now, some have also said that they have seen the spirit of a man who looks like he was crushed by a water weight door. And there's also, which a water weight door, for those of you who don't know, it's if the ship, like on the Titanic, for instance, when the Titanic was hit with the icebergs, they have these emergency doors that are supposed to be water, like sealed, airtight sealed, like water. But the problem with the Titanic was where it was hit versus where the water weight doors were. It had filled up too much of it anyways. So supposedly one of those airtight sealed doors came down and crushed somebody. There's also a ghost of a woman who dances in the first class lounge. And it has also been said that one of the staterooms is so haunted that it was actually closed to the public for 30 years. It's open now, so you can stay there if you want to. Now, in 1989, it was recorded that in the Mauritania room, also known as the Garden Lounge, that cleaning staff had been in this area, and they had entered the room, and they saw a guest sitting on a chair in the middle of this chair. Now, the 3 staff members were about
in the middle of the chair?
In the middle of the room. Sorry, in the middle of the...
No, I was like, is it like a bench?
No, he's in a chair. He's in a chair in the middle of the room. And the 3 staff members were like, there's not supposed to be anybody in here because they're in there to clean it. And again, this is 1989, so it's now a hotel. It's not, they're not currently traveling. So this is, nobody should be there. Checkout time has come. This guy's sitting there. So the 3 staff members were talking. They're like, I think we should call security because he's just sitting there. And when they went to go call security, the man vanished in front of their eyes. All 3 of them. He just disappeared. So that's one of the haunting stories. Now in 2001, an employee actually entered the staff offices early in the morning. Now this area where the offices are used to be a beauty salon. It used to be the beauty salon of the boat when it would travel. Now this employee this employee was in there and felt like something had brushed up against them. They also then turned around and saw a pale figure that walked through the door and completely disappeared. And there have been actually more stories from multiple staff members and guests about Grumpy, which they nicknamed this spirit Grumpy. This is a spirit that is known for growling in people's ears, and his presence is also often felt within large groups of people. So like if you're walking around
so not 4 people, right?
Not honestly, when I was reading it, it kind of sounds like if you're in a group of people like hanging out in a lounge area, all of a sudden you'll just be sitting there and you'll hear this in your ear, but it's like nobody did it type thing.
I'd shit and piss myself. And no, you guys know how I get when I scream. Apparently I fucking run in place and smack my chest. So that's what I would do.
And then there's also another spirit that has been seen near the propellers, and he is known as Shaft Alley. So there are some named ones. Now let's talk specifically about Stateroom B340, the one that was so haunted. So this room has actually become known as the most haunted room in the Queen Mary. It has been confirmed that a passenger by the name of Walter J. Adamson did die in that room in 1948. His cause of death was never reported, but the ghost sightings reported in this room did not start until after he died. Now, on one occasion, a woman who was staying in the room while the ship was still active, so this is still like in the 50s or 60s, so she's on this cruise, she's staying in this room, and she calls and complains that she woke up to a man figure standing over the end of her bed. And then she said that the figure that she saw then pulls the covers off of her and vanishes into thin air. And by the way, she is not the only one who has reported that kind of interaction. Now, since the ship has been turned into a hotel, even more of these sightings have occurred. Guests have reported waking up to hearing the sink and the tub faucets running. They have said that lights have turned on and off. They have said that bathroom and closet doors will open and close. They've also said that a figure has been knocking on the door. And staff members had even said that the sheets have been pulled off right after the bed was made. So they go in, make the bed, and then they turn around and the sheets are on the floor. This was the room that was closed for 30 years. In 2018, they did reopen the room after it had been renovated. And the room now has tarot cards, a crystal ball, and a Ouija board inside of it. Which,
why?
Fuck you and your fucking Ouija boards. It's for decoration, truly. But if you really wanted to, you could try to sit down if you're somebody who knows how to read tarot cards, or maybe if you believe in the crystal ball or Ouija boards, you could sit down and try to fuck with it to see if you could bring a spirit up.
They do have an after-hours graveyard tour.
I know. No, thank you. And in the bathroom, there are instructions on how to summon Bloody Mary.
Oh, everybody knows that. Well, I don't know why the fuck you need instructions.
And here's the creepiest part, in my opinion. So again, they opened this in 2018, and then they did close it during 2020, obviously for COVID, but it has since been reopened. But so they not only decorated with all these things like ambiance, right? Because it's like spooky.
Duh.
But there are also former guest accounts that are written on the walls. So like people who stayed there will write on the walls what they experienced, which is fucking creepy to me. So that's room B340. If you're ever interested, you can actually request to stay in room B340. We're going to talk now about John Petter and door 13. So on July 10th, 1966, there was a routine safety drill being done on the Queen Mary. And a crew member named John Petter, who was 18 at the time, was killed during this routine safety drill. He was crushed by door 13, the watertight door on deck D. Now, John had only been a crew member for just a few months before he died. And what had happened was he was tending to the bilge pump when the drill was announced. That was around 3:55 a.m. He unfortunately did not make it through the door in time. And another crew member ends up finding him later. And then they open the door, and the only visible sign of any injury was he had blood coming out of his nose. That would be the man that people have reported seeing who had been crushed by the door. Now, it is widely believed that John's spirit does remain on board of the Queen Mary. A few years after his death, there was a night watchman who reportedly was walking towards the door.
You'd have to give me a fuck ton of money to be a night watchman at a place like that. I'm just throwing that out there. There's no money in the world that would have me.
I agree.
Fucking go. No.
Okay, so he is walking towards door 13 when his German Shepherd.
You trust the dog.
Starts
you
to
you just
Yep.
turn around.
Correct.
Walk away.
He starts to freak out. The German Shepherd starts to freak out.
Turn around and walk away.
And then the guard ends up hearing clanging metallic sounds that were moving towards him. And him and his dog ran like hell.
Fuck yeah.
And over the years, again, people have reported seeing a shadow figure near door 13. And some have even claimed that they've been chased by this shadow.
Fat ghost is coming at me.
No.
Fucking
No.
A,
I was going to say a shadow, but for some reason I was going to say fatto.
You never know.
But they've claimed to be chased by this ghost. They also have reported hearing metallic sounds as well. And there was one woman who said that she saw a man near door 13 who she later was walking through the ship and saw pictures on the ship and pointed at this man and said, "That's literally who I saw downstairs by door 13." And when she looked at the name, it was John Petter. See, it gives me fucking chills just talking about it.
But my thing is, there's all these mediums and shit out there. Why aren't y'all going there and trying to release the souls?
They do. I don't know if they know how to do that, but they do.
Has anybody seen The Conjuring? Fucking do what they do.
There's also a ghost that is the Lady in White. Now, the Lady in White.
Okay, that just sounds like Haunted Mansion.
No, actually, this is the one ghost that I'm like, yeah, I think I'd be okay if I saw her. So the salon in the Queen Mary, which was once the first class lounge. So not like hair salon, but the salon, like couches and like pianos, and you can
like
sit.
A saloon?
No, it's a salon. It's a fancy way of saying really fancy living room.
Okay.
Basically. So there's this really fancy area. It used to be the first class lounge. It's where passengers now go and they'll just kind of like hang out, right? There's a lady there is a ghost, spirit, whatever you want to call it, that it has been reported that this lady in white has been seen many times for many years. Her identity is unknown, so they don't know who she is, but she is always seen near the piano dancing to music that nobody can hear, and she looks as if she's humming. She is also the most often seen ghost since the ship has been docked in Long Beach. So but her sighting has been reported more than anybody else's, which is, again, she's just minding her own damn business. Like, I could hang with that.
This is why I need to go, because if she's reportedly being seen all these times, I gotta see it with my own eyes for me to believe it.
Okay, so you know how we talked about how the Queen Mary had a little bit of an accident during World War II. So in 1942, the Queen Mary collides with the HMS Curacoa ship. Now, by the way, the Curacoa ship was actually a ship that was escorting the Queen Mary. So the Queen Mary was traveling. The Curacoa ship was a much smaller ship that would travel with it. I don't know if it was just to like protect it or just to whatever, but it was there.
Small ship protects the big ass ship.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really 100% sure. Maybe it was because the Queen Mary was so big that if there was like a one-off, ship off to the side, the Curacoa could go and fight it or something. So the captain of the Queen Mary is trucking along, and they find out that there are some torpedoes coming to them, like the bomb things. And so this is how good Queen Mary was. She could duck and move. Like, she zigged and zagged, okay? And she'd like outrun the torpedoes. That's how good she was, right? So he's doing this. He's working on zigging and zagging, right? So Queen Mary literally cuts the ship in half. Cuts the Curacoa ship in half. Now, Queen Mary is way bigger than the Curacoa. Like, Queen Mary was 81,000 tons compared to the Curacoa, which was 4,290 tons.
So it didn't just cut it in half. It fucking demolished it.
Yeah, because Queen Mary said zig and then zag and then zig again. And when she said zig, the Curacoa said zig as well. And they said, boom, shit.
Curacoa said R.I.P.
Yeah. The Queen Mary actually then ends up leaving the survivors too, because after this happens, it cuts the ship in half. There are people who have survived, but the captain was under strict orders to not stop for anything. And so the captain had to look back and be like, okay, we'll send somebody for you. See you later. So
I mean, unfortunately, that makes sense.
It's part
though.
of the military, right?
Yeah.
So they leave the survivors. A different fleet of people working in World War II ends up being sent to pick up the survivors. But it took them like 2 hours to get to them. So by the time they got there, most of the survivors had also died. There was a total of 430 people on board the Curacoa. 329 of them died.
Well, I bet you that's part of your...
101 survived.
Because think about it. What do angry souls do? They
Right.
stay attached to the thing that fucking killed them, more than likely, which would be the boat.
So it has now been reported that at the front of the ship, people have heard sounds of metal crushing and screams of men, and others have heard sounds of rushing water and banging on the side of the ship. Tell me that
That's
would
like
not
gut-wrenching,
freak you
though.
the fuck out. Especially since the Queen Mary sits docked. It doesn't go anywhere. So you should definitely not be hearing a bunch of fucking metal or water or anything because it's just docked. And I've actually seen the Queen Mary. I've seen it. But it's docked. And I'm just sitting there like, and you're hearing that? That's terrible.
I'd sit there and go, it's just a fucking video.
I know, you'd be like,
I'd be like, they're just playing a
is."
fucking video.
Now, there is also another area that has a lot of activity, and that is the first class pool. So remember I said there were two pools.
Fucking pool?
There was 2 pools. It's fucking creepy as hell. I'm not going to lie, 'cause
Hey.
it's empty.
Your drain. This is your drain
Oh
nightmare.
my God. Not only is it my drain nightmare, the pool pictures, because I saw, okay, I'm going to be very honest right now. When I was doing the research on this, on one of the articles I was reading, somebody had taken pictures on the Queen Mary, right? And I'm sitting there looking through them, and on one of them, they're like, oh, these are stairs leading to wherever it was going. And they're like, if you look closely, there's a bunch of orbs. And orbs typically are representation of ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I was not willing to zoom in because I was too scared that something was going to pop out at me. And then in one of the pictures, it was like, is it just me or does this look like a face? And I was like, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to even try to look in because I was too scared. But they showed pictures of the first class pool. It is so scary because it's been empty for years, but it's got like rust spots in the drainage areas. And I'm all like, it freaked me the fuck out. So I'm just letting you know, I wouldn't be going into the first class pool
Probably got
area.
sucked into the drain.
So this area of the boat is where all of the first class people were allowed to swim. Nobody below first class could swim there. And it has been considered a paranormal hotspot. People have actually heard splashing, and they have seen wet footprints leading away from the pool, which is strange because the pool was drained a long ass time ago. So there should not be anybody's footprints anywhere. A woman in her 1930s swimwear has been seen holding a girl and her teddy bear. There is also a ghost named Jackie who has been seen in the pool area. And it has been reported that the narrow hallway that leads to the changing rooms, like from the pool to the changing rooms, has been considered a center of spiritual energy on the ship. And they know this because they have had mediums who have gone to the Queen Mary, and they have found that the pool area is a very hot spot for paranormal activity. And that hallway in particular is an area where I don't really quite understand it, but it almost sounds like it's a portal, which I was telling your brother about. He's like, oh yeah, it's a portal. What the fuck?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
What the fuck? It's like a portal, which is why they say there's like...
It's like the connection between the afterlife.
Yes, and that hallway supposedly has been found by a lot of mediums to be a very, very good option of a portal area for spirits. This same hallway, people have actually reported feeling dizzy and getting goosebumps just walking through it.
Bro, I fucking dare. I dare.
So, this is the Queen Mary. So where and how can you see the Queen Mary? Well, like I said, it's permanently located in Long Beach, California. You can book a room and stay the night. You can book.
No.
You can book guided tours.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You can book haunted tours.
Which I don't
can
understand the difference between that.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay, because I saw that online and I was
you
like,
can book graveyard tours, which is done after midnight.
fuck
So
that.
the difference between a guided tour and the haunted tours is the guided tours will take you through like not necessarily the haunted places.
Well, based on online, it looked like it's like the guided tours are just like the history of the boat, whereas the haunted tours are history of the boat and
you'll still
the paranormal shit.
You'll still go through parts of the boat, but they won't bring you down to like door 13, right? Whereas the haunted one will probably bring you to door 13, will probably show you room B340, right? It won't show you those things.
Apparently, you can pay $200 for the VIP, which is a 3-hour tour, a 1-hour like dinner thing that you get to do, and like a bunch of other shit, and you got to go to places that you don't get to see to the public.
Like the extra, like we did at Winchester Mystery House.
Which I'm telling you right now, here's my thing. If I'm going to some place like this, I'm paying the extra money to see the fucking extra shit, because might as well.
Duh. Now, they do also have a package deal where you can stay and do the tours too. So you can literally get a a discount where you stay at the hotel, but you also book the tours.
You don't survive the night, you get a free tour.
There are also multiple restaurants and shops on the Queen Mary as well. And best of all, this was like the most impressive, and also I was like, damn, that's some crazy shit. Best of all, you can even get married on the Queen Mary. Like, they have multiple packages. So if you're in the market to get married on a haunted ship, this may be the one for you. I was even looking at them. Like, I didn't have the prices.
You can renew your vows.
I didn't have the prices, but like they have one room that holds like 700 people. Okay, like you can do like full blown, and they're beautiful. To be fair, the venues are beautiful. I just don't know if that's where I'd like to get married.
That's where my brother would go.
So yes, if you're in the market to get married on a haunted ship, you might want to check out the Queen Mary. This leaves me with this question for you. Will you ever visit the Queen Mary someday? My answer to this is probably no.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am not really keen on staying in places where there are multiple ghost sightings. To me, it's spooky as hell.
No. There's a difference between
research.
Staying and visiting.
Did the research on this, and it freaked me the fuck out.
Fine, my brother and I will go.
I don't want to see the pool in person. I saw a picture. I'll show you a picture. It's just scary
that's where you close your eyes and go la 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 and walk through.
I mean, to be fair, would I probably go? Yeah. I mean, I've done a ghost vampire tour in New Orleans, and it was really cool.
The Winchester House.
We did the Winchester House. We've done Alcatraz. But this is like true hauntings, whereas like Alcatraz wasn't really true haunting stuff. Like, you might see stuff, but
also it sounds like they're going to fuck with you, not hurt you.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is it doesn't sound like they're demons, right? So my big thing with paranormal stuff is there are certain paranormal things I will not talk about. I will not talk about The Conjuring. I will not talk about any of those things, because that is fucking demons.
But Ed and Lorraine Warren, come
on.
It's
demons. And I'm not one to bring, because I'm afraid that if I research that shit's coming to me through the computer. Don't even fucking.
Annabelle's going to fucking creep out at you.
Also, just a side note, I did not know Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll.
You didn't know that? Yeah, the Annabelle movie is not anywhere near.
But I bet
you they didn't use that doll.
There's too much about demon-filled shit that I have no desire to look into. I don't mind looking at hauntings and spirits and things like that. It creeps me the fuck out. But I do not.
Because I think spirits and ghosts just fuck with you. Demons try to
don't even fuck with you. Sometimes they're just living their life. They're stuck between the world.
Well, but I'm saying like the ones that actually want to try to hurt you, physically. Like I know. Well, I don't know, but I'm assuming with ghosts and spirits, they can like knock shit over, or like people are saying the growling, things like that. But demons are the ones that can like go into your body and manipulate you and
or kill you.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you.
They can fucking tear your at least from the movies, they can tear your body.
Yeah,
apart.
I don't know. So for me, do I think I would ever visit Queen Mary?
Yes.
I mean, I would probably be forced to by my kids. They probably would be like, we have to do this. So would I go on a tour? Yes. Would I go on the graveyard tour? Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not. I would go on the haunting tour, but even the haunting tour, I would want to go during the day. I'm not going at night.
Yeah, you can do 10 to 6.
Yeah, I'm going at like 11 a.m.
No, you're like 10 a.m.
Like 10 a.m.
Earliest
10 to 11 a.m. That's it, because when I walk out that Queen Mary, it's still bright outside and I don't got to worry about it. But I'm not doing anything
we didn't
that's
even
dark.
do the Alcatraz After Dark one.
We wanted to, but it was sold out. That's why we didn't do the Alcatraz one. And that would have after going to Alcatraz, that shit would have creeped me the fuck out. That would have creeped me the
Nah,
fuck
more
out.
so I would have eaten shit trying to walk up and down those.
I don't know. I don't know about the after dark shit. I don't know. But I would definitely not. So that poses a question to all of you listening. Have you heard of the Queen Mary? And if you have you been there? And if you haven't, would you ever go? Because it seems relatively harmless, but you might get a true haunting experience. But
my short answer is yes.
I would go maybe to tour with my family, but I would never stay there.
I'm going to look up what the dates are available when we go in December.
I think you and your brother should stay the night there.
Yeah, you can fuck right off. Actually, no.
You know your brother would. He said he wants to stay.
Fucking, maybe he'll find a girlfriend there.
He said he'll stay at the Lizzie Borden house, which is an absolute no.
I don't even know what that is.
Lizzie Borden.
Well, guess that's your next one.
She's the one who axed her parents to death. Oh my God. And it's a haunted house. And he would stay there.
Guess we'll do that one next.
Oh my God. Anyways,
maybe we'll do Lizzie Borden next, you guys.
Well, Lizzie Borden is one of those ones that it's like a true crime / haunting.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe we'll do that one.
Maybe we will. I don't know.
But I have no fucking idea what that is.
But that's where we're gonna leave it. So I hope that you guys appreciated the fact that we've had a real shit week and we didn't have to talk about true crime. We talked about something totally different, which was the Queen Mary, which in my mind was spooky as hell to research, but also really fun to talk about. I really did enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed it, Sierra, because I know paranormal type stuff isn't necessarily your thing either. It's interesting though. It was very interesting, and it doesn't make you feel like, oh, I hate this fucking person, right? Like you don't have that negative vibe. So this was a feel good episode. I'm not going to lie, which I really needed this week.
Now, I do think, because we're coming up on Halloween,
yeah,
I do think we need to do another like haunting of some
I
sort.
think so
I don't
too.
think we should do a crime.
I think so too. I think when it comes up to Halloween,
so if
I'm
you
gonna
guys
start
have
looking.
any
Yeah,
recommendations,
if you have any recommendations, either email us
send them our way.
or DM us through one of our socials, because definitely I think haunting. Now that we're gonna do some paranormal stuff, I definitely think Halloween time, October, maybe all of the month of October, we'll do nothing but paranormal.
That'd be cool.
That would be kind of cool, just to have like 4 or 5 paranormal episodes in a row. And I have an expert paranormal that lives with me, so I'll definitely be able to get some good ones. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to us talk about the Queen Mary. And I hope that if you live anywhere close to Long Beach, or if you're ever planning on taking a trip down there, that maybe you'll stop and take
like
a tour.
Us.
Because apparently we're going to be doing it too.
Yeah, we are. I'll let you know the review in December.
Yeah, if we do it, we'll do an update to this episode and tell you how it was.
Basically, I'm going to say if I'm a fucking chicken shit or not.
Other than that, thank you so much for listening to us. And I guess until next week, everybody stay strong, stay safe, or hug your loved ones and just like
hold them close.
Put a smile on your face, because we fucking need it. Catch you on the flip side, bitches.
Bye, bitches.